What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic. And today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. And today we're going to talk about a very, very, very dynamic player and possibly the most special player on the whole entire offense. You heard me, the most special player on the whole entire offense. And we're not even talking about Dameon Pierce. We're going to break it down. Before we get in there, like I've been telling you before, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're watching all the videos. Make sure you comment on all the videos. You liking all the videos. And you sharing all the videos on all social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share it on them same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. And we're trying to get this channel growing and growing and growing. You already know what it is. We're in the middle of the preseason. The NFL regular season is right around the corner. You see the videos dropping. You see the live streams after the preseason games. Hey, so let's do your part. Let's get this channel growing and growing and growing. I really, really appreciate that. And also, the joint practice versus the Miami Dolphins, me and some other members of the roundtable. Shout out to everybody out there, Soft Sports, everybody on the roundtable. You already know what it is. We going to be out there at the joint practice against the Miami Dolphins. So if you see me, you see my brothers from the round table, everybody from South Sports, you see us. Hey, shout us out, say what's up to us. Don't be shy. Come and holler at your boy. Come and holler at the clique. Come on, holler at your boys and just let's all have a good time out here at the preseason practice versus Miami Dolphins. So show love. We gonna show love back. Y'all show love as well. You already know what it is. But hey, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, share the channel. Let's get this channel growing and growing and growing. I really, really appreciate that. Now, like I said, possibly the most special player on the whole entire offense, Tank Dell. I know what y'all sitting out there. I already know what it is. It's a preseason game. He was going against number 2 and all the other type of stuff like that. Targeted 8 times, 5 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. And when the ball was in his hands, was extremely dynamic. He don't need to be no more time out there with the second team. He better be out there Saturday versus the Miami Dolphins in the preseason game against the ones. He better be out there against the ones. He don't need to be spending no time with the 2s or 3s. He's already stamped his case and already showed that he is willing to be out to be a playmaker. Will he be the number 1 receiver? We don't know. Now, he might get he could end up getting number 1 targets. I know a lot of people, I know my boy Wink might not like this. A lot of people be talking about him being, using him on special teams and punt return. I know Wink been adamant about using him as a punt returner. I don't know if he's going to be used as a punt returner much this season because I think that he's going to show his value very early on, that his value is going to be catching the football on the offense, and you don't want to use up that by using special teams. And I do think he's a very, very dynamic punt returner. I think he'll be very electric as a punt returner. I would love to see him as a punt returner because I think a couple weeks ago in practice, when practice first started, he was the only one out there who wasn't dropping the punt. Like he caught like the whole like Pac-Man drill when you catch 6 balls, you catch up to six punts and you keep all 6 footballs in your hand while you catching another one. He was the only one who didn't drop one. Like everybody else out there, everybody else that they put back there in that drill dropped one. He was the only one who didn't drop one. He just shows his dynamics, the way he's able to cut, how shifty he is, how quick he is, and I know he's like 5'8", 167 pounds, stuff like that. That size is the reason why he went in the 3rd round. Because if he was 6 foot, if he was like Zay Flowers size, he's a top 10 pick. He's 10th pick in the draft. He was very, very electric at U of H. I remember me and Wise watching the U of H versus Texas Tech game, and you know I'm a Texas Tech fan, and I'm watching this game, and I'm like, who is this dude? Who is number 1 for U of H? And Wise was like, bro, that's Tank Dell. I'm like, man, we cannot cover him. We could not cover him at all. And I don't think his size is going to be a factor in the field. I think his size is what caused him to fall in the draft. I don't think his size is going to be a factor in the field because he didn't look small to me Thursday night. Like when watching him against the Patriots, he did not look small. He didn't look like a 5'8", 65 pound guy. He looked just like an NFL football player. He looked like a guy who's out there making plays. And the way he was mixing dudes up, the way he's able to he's very shifty and very quick. He has very, very good lateral movement. And also his 40 time hurt him as well because it doesn't seem like at least for the combine, he didn't have straight line speed. And maybe that's not how he uses his speed. He's very quick. He's very shifty. a great sense of change of direction, can stop on the dime and cut and move and stop on the dime and cut and go the other direction. That right there, chopping his feet and doing stuff like that, he's gonna be able to mix corners and DBs up all the time. And then with a quarterback like CJ, they can get the ball to him accurately. Now, he can't be staring him down like he did on that pick. Can't be staring him down. But able to, especially when he gets clean pockets and able to drop back and set his feet and able to scan the field, able to deliver the football with accuracy, he's going to be a very, very, very deadly weapon. I know I did a video a couple weeks back on about the 7-1-3 connection, and CJ wearing 7 and Tank wearing number 13. And they did that for a reason, because they know exactly what that number means in the city of Houston, it being this very first area code. Very first area code. But he's a very, very, very special dynamic player. And I think he's already put people on notice, just in a small snippet in the preseason game. And people who evaluate him, people during the draft, everybody said that, Tank could be still in the draft. The Texans got still with Tank. Oh man, the Texans is killing in the draft with drafting CJ and getting Willie Anderson. Now they got Tank Dell. People already knew exactly what it was. I don't know what them NFL scouts was doing. Again, I think they let that size and that 40 time fool them instead of watching the tape. Because if you sit back and watch the tape, the dude was a playmaker every step of the way. He was a playmaker. He was extremely dynamic. He always made plays. That's one of the reasons why I jumped up in excitement when we drafted him. Like I said before, it took me a look at the dude called him by his real name, Nathaniel. I'm always used to hearing him saying Tank, and he said Nathaniel Dell, and it kind of caught me by surprise. And I'm like, who he talking about? That's Tank Dell. You face? Oh snap! And when I realized who it was, that's why I jumped out with excitement when I realized exactly what transpired, who we just drafted, and just think about, man, hey, this dude, given the opportunity, is going to be able to make plays. And having a quarterback like CJ is going to be able to deliver him the football is going to be very, very key and very, very massive. And now, what I'm going to need Bobby Slowick to do, because this offense knows how to get receivers wide open. Look at Andre Johnson. Look at Cooper Kupp. Look at Justin Jefferson. Look at Debo. Look at Brandon Ayuk, and the list goes on. Look at the receivers that's played this. Now I know so these receivers I'm naming are top receivers, especially Andre Johnson, stuff like that. But Cooper Kupp, we knew who Cooper Kupp was before he got into this offense with the Rams. We knew who Cooper Kupp was in the NFL. Going into the NFL. We didn't know. Some of these guys didn't have those names in the cachet, and they got it once they got into the NFL. But these guys play in that style and that type of offense. And this offense is known to get receivers open. And with the way that Tank can chop up his feet and cut and do all these things like this, I think that it's going to open up a lot of doors and a lot of windows, and you can do a lot of exciting things in offense. And that's the reason why I said possibly the most special player on offense. I know what Dameon Pierce did last year in his rookie year. I already know what the value that that CJ brings in as a quarterback. We know exactly what we hope we can see out of Mechie, especially the hands that we have in Hutchinson. We know these type of things, the size that Nico has. But the reason why I think he's going to be the most special is because you'll be able to do so much with him. You can be able to do so many type of exotic things, move him around, use him in motion, put him on the outside, put him in the slot. You can possibly put him in the backfield, let him do things out of the backfield. I'm not saying hand the ball off to him and let him run up the middle, up the gut in the backfield, but use him in the backfield, be able to confuse the defense, make the defense and the linebackers and the corners and the DBs move around a little bit to set up things. And you might not even be giving the ball to Tank, but just the threat of him being on the field can change exactly what you're doing with the offense. It can change what you're doing with Dalton Schultz. It can change what you're doing with Mitch. It can change what you're doing with Nico, what you're doing with Hudson. It can change what you're doing with Dameon Pierce and what you're doing with Singletary. It can change a lot of different things just by the threat of Tank being on the field, because how special and how dynamic he is and the different things you can do for him exotically and also in conform finds as well. The things that you can do with him is massive, and it opens up the playbook. You can create a playbook just because Tank Dell's on the field. That's what type of special talent he brings in. Don't let the size fool you. Don't let the weight fool you. None of those things are factors. And you've seen that. Thursday, and I even talk about the catch, how he bobbled it and then was able to catch it and keep his feet in bounds. We didn't even talk about that. We didn't even talk about how massive, how keen that catch was. We just talked about how he looked. We just talked about how he was mixing boys up. We even talked about the difficulty of catch him laying on his back, not able to catch the ball, bring the ball in, and then able to bring it in and still keep his body in the inside to keep it for the end zone. We even talked about that. So we showed you the skills, the way he keeps his eye contact on the football, the way he keeps his eye. Okay, I gotta make sure I bring this football in. I'm not just it's a preaching game. No. He showed you exactly what he can do, and he shows you the intensity. That boy's ready to play. The boy's ready to play and ready to be a baller. Just flat out ready to play and ready to be a baller. And the NFL has been put on notice on how special he is. Everybody knows exactly what he is. And he better not be out there with the 2s and 3s no more than the preseason. He needs to be out there strictly with the 1s. He needs to be out there strictly with the 1s. We want to see him more rest with CJ. Hey, obviously, we need to see the full offensive line. I know Tyus Howard's dealing with an injury, but we need to see Larry Tunsil. We need to see Shaq Mason out there. We need more time for CJ. We see how everybody else got time. Bryce got a little bit more time to play. Who else? Anthony Rizzo got more time to play. We're not even counting Will Levis because he was out there with the backups. We don't even care about him. We talking about the guys who came out there starting. They got more time to play. CJ only got two reps. Two drives, only attempted 4 passes. We need to see a little bit more out there. We do. We need to see a little bit. He needs to be able to work through some of his mistakes. And I know this is not a CJ video. This video is back on Tank. But I'm saying that is because we need to see Tank out there a little bit more, because I can see Tank being the guy he relies on. And to be honest, the way he stared Tank down on that third down play, that could be the situation. He knew that Tank is probably his best playmaker as far as the making a splash play. But he might be staring Tank down because he knows exactly what he has in Tank. Now, that's not good offense. He don't need to be staring receivers down anyway. But I'm saying is, Tank might end up being the number 1 target. Now, am I saying he's going to be a 1,500-yard receiver, 100 catches? I'm not saying none of that. Because I think he's going to be able to get the football in a lot of different ways. But I do think he's a guy who's going to get 50-plus, 60-some catches, 850 to 900 yards, and 5 or 6 touchdowns as a rookie, if not more. I wouldn't be surprised if Tank had over 1,000 yards. If Tank came in as a rookie, had 1,000 yards and had like 8-9 touchdowns, I wouldn't be surprised. Now 100 catches, that's a lot of catches. That's a lot of catches. I ain't gonna lie, I'll be surprised if he had 100 catches, because that's just a lot of catches. That's a lot of catches. If he had 100 catches, I wonder, like, well, okay, what are the other receivers doing? Or we just sitting there just throwing the ball only to Tank? Like, I would need more context with the 100 catches at this stage, because since we don't have a true number 1 receiver, you would think the ball gets spread out a little bit amongst these guys, because we don't have a guy who's commanding the football. We don't have a Hopkins or a Dre or a Jettas and somebody that commanding the football being thrown to them. So since that's the case with Dalton Schultz and the other receivers that we have, young guys that we have, like I said, it's more so unexperienced and unknown than lack of talent. I don't see any of these guys getting 100 catches just because of that. And if somebody gets 100 catches, either that person has stepped up in a tremendous way, or the other guys have took a step back in a tremendous way as well. So that's why I don't think we'll see anybody really with 100 catches. But 1,000 yards and 8-9 touchdowns would not surprise me. Do I think he's going to get there? No, I think it'll be more so between 800 and 900, somewhere in that frame. Anywhere, so I'll say 850 the sweet spot, but between 8 and 900 is where I think he'll end up. And like I said, like 5 or 6 touchdowns and somewhere around like 55 to 65 catches. Somewhere in that frame. I think tops 85 catches would be the most he'll catch. But I'm saying somewhere like around, like I say, like between 55 and 65 catches and 800 to 900 yards and 5 to 6 touchdowns is what I'm thinking. But very, very special, very, very dynamic. I do think he'll get some punt returns in the season. But I think by the time the season gets midway, they'll see how special he is and how important he is to the offense. and they won't use him in special teams anymore, and they'll only strictly use him in offense. And I think he's a very, very special dynamic player, and it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I holla.